When you're born, you're first a child. That's your first role. You learn dependence, curiosity, how to receive. Then you become a sibling if you are lucky. You learn competition, you learn collaboration, you learn how to exist in a world that doesn't revolve around you, right? Later you become a spouse. Here you learn partnership, responsibility, building with somebody else. Eventually you become a parent, and now you're not just shaping your life, but your decisions are designing someone else's. And notice this, becoming one role does not erase the others. A parent is still a child to someone, they are still a sibling to someone, they are still a spouse, and that is how life is. Skills are no different. And no, in this video I'll not tell you about doing surveys, doing forex, academic writing, all that bullshit. I'm not into all that. So if that is what you're looking for, honestly you can skip this video, but I would request that you stay. You may learn something. Even before you continue, I'm having a conversation with a few people we meet every once a month, and so I decided to record this one and just post for you. When you think about writing and you learn how to write, and then maybe 2 months from when you learn, you get a marketing gig, it doesn't mean that your writing has now become redundant. It doesn't mean that you are no longer a writer because you've become a marketer. It doesn't, right? Or when you learn psychology, you don't throw away the storytelling you learned 2 years ago. Each skill is a layer, and the compound effect of those layers is what makes you unique. But here's where people misunderstand the phrase niche down. They hear niche and they think it means amputation, cutting off all the other skills and only being one thing. And that is not the truth of the matter. That is very dangerous, in fact. Let me show you the 4 dangers of misunderstanding niching down. The first danger is that you become replaceable. You become replaceable. If you niche down so hard on one thing, you reduce yourself into a commodity. That means you're just a copywriter or just a designer. And in a global market where the market is shifting too quickly, even with AI, being just makes you disposable. Number 2, you start to experience stunted growth. When you believe niching down means locking yourself in one box, you stop learning outside that box. That means if you niche down into becoming a writer, you forego the opportunity of learning design, the opportunity of learning copywriting, the opportunity of learning SEO. That means you have now capped your growth at the writer level only. You stop layering your skills, you stop compounding, and that means while others evolve into bigger roles, you are stuck at entry level. The third danger is that you experience miscommunication with the market. If you resist niching down at all because you think it limits you, you confuse people. You show up saying, I'm a writer, I'm a designer, I'm a marketer, I'm a consultant, I'm a coach, I'm a developer. You know, these kind of people who show up in podcasts and they seem to know nothing about everything because they know small details of everything to the degree that you cannot even take their word for anything. You cannot even tell after the podcast, are they writers? Were they selling a product? Are they singers? What exactly are they? That is the danger of not niching down in the right way. So people don't know how exactly to engage you. In short, they don't know what to pay you for. And that is also very dangerous, right? And the fourth danger we are going to address in this conversation is identity crisis. When you misunderstand niching, you start to see your old skills as irrelevant. You say things like, I used to be a writer, I used to be a coder, or I used to be a designer. Right now I'm in sales. And that is far from the truth, because whatever skills you have honed, you have practiced over the years are not wasted. In fact, they sum up to be part of your unfair advantage, what makes you unique. That means when we talk about niching down, what in fact we are talking about is integration. Integration, not amputation, integration. How do you bring your SEO skills and your writing skills and your editorial skills and your creativity skills together to make you something that is opportunity ready, or something that now people can engage you with? And when I say the word engage in this context, people can pay you for, right? It's very important to note this, that niching down is not amputation, but refusing to niche at all is just as dangerous. Take the writer who niched so tightly into copywriting that now they are competing with AI. If all you have is a surface level skill of stringing words together, you've become commoditized. You are fighting AI that can produce in seconds what takes you hours. If you don't layer strategy, psychology, brand positioning, or consulting on top, you're stuck. Think about the guy who niched down into the taxi business in 2010. For years, that was a lane for everybody. But then Uber, Bolt, and other ride-hailing apps came up. If you only play or if your only play is that I drive people from Nairobi to Mombasa, or I drive people from point A to point B, you have been wiped out, right? The ones who survived layered on more: fleet management, customer service, logistics, creating platforms. Or the coder. For decades, when we were in primary school, coding was the holy grail. Learn to code, they said, and you will become safe for life. But today, AI can generate code bases in minutes. If all you did was niche down into pure coding without layering on product thinking, design, and leadership, you are now in a race against AI. This is why I say niching is not elimination. Because once disruption comes, and it always does, the single skill operator gets crushed. That person who had built their career purely on writing, AI came and wiped them out. That person who had built their career purely on the taxi business, they are now wiped out. Because now I can easily get on my Uber and order without even having to know the person who is driving me, right? So if your business was purely niched down on customer, on knowing people, and on the taxi business, the old model, then you are wiped out, especially in big cities, right? No wonder I find it so hard when someone comes and asks me, Thuita, what should I do to make money online? Honestly, that is the hardest question ever. Because if it was so easy, you could easily use your own AI, your own ChatGPT, to ask that question and get a reply. So the fact that you have overlooked your own AI and come to me, it means it is quite a difficult question. Because that is not how it works. The answer is not to tell you to be a writer, or an SEO guy, or a coder, or to become a driver with Uber. The answer is to layer yourself. Take me for instance. Back in 2019-2018, I started off as a writer. That was my entry level. I did that for about a year, and very quickly I discovered something. Clients did not just want words, they wanted results. They'd ask, okay, Thuita, I love your work, but how do we get more people to read it? And that meant they were addressing the conversation on SEO, and that's how I stumbled into SEO, search engine optimization. I spent about 2 years going deep into the world of SEO, learning how Google thinks, how keywords work, how organic reach is built. But then another challenge showed up when I was almost becoming very good at SEO. I could rank articles, yes, but clients asked, how come people see the headlines but they don't click? Meaning, people are seeing my work but they're not reading it. Then I discovered CTR, click-through rate. Imagine this, 10 people see you passing by but only 2 say hi. And that's where I got into learning CTR and copywriting. Because I discovered without copywriting, SEO is just numbers. So you go give reports of 10,000 impressions, 1,500 clicks, but when you look at the retention rate on a blog, the CTR is below maybe 2%, 3%. When you start now layering in a copywriting, those numbers all of a sudden become better. So I layered copywriting on top. So let's just pause and talk about how far we have come. So I started with writing, then I discovered articles don't read themselves, they need SEO. Then after fixing SEO, I discovered being seen is not enough, but being seen and engaged with is way better. So I discovered CTR, which now led me to copywriting. And now let's go to the fourth layer. After I layered copywriting, I discovered that sometimes you can do what you can do organically and things don't work. That means I had to learn ads. Because if a client has given me a deadline of 3 months to convert maybe to bring sales of worth maybe half a million, and SEO is not doing the magic, then I have to figure out what is my plan B. So I had to learn ads, Facebook ads, Google ads, TikTok ads, LinkedIn ads. So far we are on layer 4, right? Now, because you can either get traffic for free or paid, right? Then after a while, I noticed another pattern. Clients were no longer just asking for reach, they wanted retention. People come, they read my articles, then they leave. How do we keep them? That's where I got into community building. And that's where I am in 2025. Because clicks are good, but conversions are better. Reach is good, but relationships are gold. And the moment you dive into community, you discover a whole other universe. Customer management service systems, tools like Salesforce, HubSpot, Zoho. Because community at scale requires system. It requires processes. So you see how it layers up. So in 2025, I'm doing my certifications in Salesforce. I am doing a lot of tutorials on HubSpot, understanding how do you run communities? How do you manage communities? That means I did not abandon writing. Writing was my child role. Then came SEO. Then came copywriting. Then came ads, community, then system. I have not forsaken any of the previous skills. Each one stacked on top of the other. Until now, I can't even separate them. They have become one integrated system. That's what I mean when I say niching down is not about amputation. It's about choosing your front-facing role while still layering skills behind it. Because clients don't just want a writer. They want someone who can connect writing to traffic, traffic to clicks, clicks to customers, and customers to a community. That is the difference between a copywriter, a freelancer on Upwork, and you, who is a builder. Because being just another service provider is not enough. You have to become someone who shapes decisions, who shapes realities. And the answer to all that is layering yourself. The sweet spot is integration with emphasis. You pick the role the world sees first, then that becomes the clarity point people can recognize you for. But behind that one skill, you carry all the other layers. That is what gives your niche depth. That is what makes you irreplaceable. So next time you hear niche down, I beg you, don't hear become less. Hear emphasis on one, but building on the others. Because in 5 years, people won't just remember you as a writer. They won't remember you as someone who saved their business from closure because you brought clients. People won't just remember you as a designer. They won't remember you as someone who changed their UI UX of their website and they saw traffic rise by 30%, 40%, which directly influenced sales. In 5 years, your customer, your client will not remember you as an SEO guy. It is relevant, but they will remember that you saved them from closing their shop down because you are able to bring them customers. That means you are no longer being recognized for that single skill you have, but you're being recognized for the value you brought as a person. And that is where the real niche is. So you see the pattern, right? Writing led to SEO. SEO led to CTR. CTR led to copywriting. Copywriting led to ads. Ads led to community. Community led to systems. Layer upon layer. Now you understand why when you come and ask me what you should do in 2025 to make money online, I am stuck. I honestly don't know what to tell you. Because it is not a very simple question. That is not a Google it in 2 seconds question. That is not an AI prompt question. It's like walking into a hospital and asking a doctor, how can I become more healthy? Without blood test, without x-rays, without even sitting down for a proper conversation. And it gets worse. Some of us don't even go to the doctor. We self-medicate. We grab whatever pill is in the house. And are you out there wondering how to build your digital or even offline career but don't know how to get started? Then check our partners, Connect Digital Africa. They have a program called Connect Growth Club, a community of young, ambitious people who are skilled, disciplined, and enthusiastic about building their careers. The best part, joining is completely free. The only catch is that the recruiting process is a bit thorough because they only want serious and committed people. To join, check out the link in the description and use code Thuita, THUITA. Some of the benefits include a supportive community, training and upskilling, and job placements when the jobs come through. Now, back to the conversation. Do we think it can work? Dropshipping today, Forex tomorrow, affiliate marketing next week, and then we sit back shocked when nothing works. I would be shocked if anything worked, in fact. There's no diagnosis, there's no layering, there's no integration. And that's why this question is so heavy. Because making money online is not about picking one thing and hoping it sticks. It's about layering skills, diagnosing your own context, and integrating until you create leverage. That is the mindset shift most people miss. Let's circle back for one more time. We've said niching down is not amputating. We've said refusing to niche down also is very dangerous. The question then is, what should you actually do before the year comes to an end as we get into 2026? Four things. Four things. Number one, experiment widely. Experiment widely. Don't just learn copywriting on TikTok and decide you're a copywriter. Or don't just stumble into a video on cryptocurrency and decide you're now a trader. No, experiment widely. Become a student of life. Why? Because you don't know what you don't know. You don't know what you don't know. You may be settling for less. Don't marry the first girl you come across. Date her. See if she fits into your criteria of a wife. If you've already been online for a while and you're still confused on what to do, sit down. Do an audit of what you have done in the last 12 months. What gave you some boost? What made you appreciate yourself? What were you able to give results in? The second thing you can do, and you must do, is learn the language of value. Learn the language of value, because wadau, at the end of the day, skills are useless if you don't know how to package them into payable commodity. People don't pay you for your writing, they pay you for the results of the writing. So if you're a beginner, learn the basics of value creation. Understand traffic, conversion, retention. Learn SEO. What is CTR? How do you build an email list? Learn all those simple basic things. If you've been around for a while again, stop obsessing over what tools to learn. The question is, how does the skill you have make someone else's life better? In terms of, does it bring attention to their business? Does it build trust with their clients? Or does it directly make money for them? Once you understand that, you stop chasing the shiny objects with something called shiny object syndrome, where you're always chasing the next new thing in town. Number 3, stack, don't swap. Beginners, as you sample, don't throw away any skill you learn. If you wrote for 3 months, if you write for 3 months, then shift to something else. Keep writing, keep polishing the writing, because one day, one time, that writing skill may make you more valuable as a designer. And for the ones who are still figuring their way out, look at your skills not as failures or detours, but as layers. You are not wasting time learning coding now that you've become a marketer. You are adding upon layers that are increasing to your uniqueness. And the last thing that you must do in 2025, as we approach the end of the year, diagnose before you prescribe. Don't ask what is the thing you should do to make money online. Ask, what problem do you want to solve? And what skills can I stack, or what skills do you need to have to be able to solve that problem you want to solve? Because it's a secret. Most of the clues are already in your day-to-day life. Maybe you are so good with people. Maybe you are very good at design. Maybe you are very organized and you like things in a certain way. All those are pointers towards what you should be building for. Maybe you enjoy, caring and nurturing friendships. That talks a lot about your skills in marketing, in consultancy, in customer service. These things seem minor, but they are not. They are diagnostic clues. When you recognize them, you stop chasing every make money online hack, and you start aligning your skills with the kind of value you're wired for. Okay? So to wrap it up, we have said experiment widely, learn the language of value, stack, don't swap, and diagnose before you prescribe. If you're new, this keeps you away from marrying the wrong skill. And if you're stuck, this will help you see past your years of frustration. All right? That's how you survive disruption. And that's how you stop competing with AI. And that is how you make 2025 the year you find your niche with clarity instead of fear. Okay? So this has been one of the most insightful conversations I've had over and over again with all my friends in regards to value creation and understanding what they can do in the online space. So if this is one of those conversations you have enjoyed, drop a comment and tell me which part you enjoyed the most, what you would want me maybe to cover more, and we can go into details, on a one-on-one or even in another video that I can do. Thank you very much and see you in the next video. Bye.